Hello there, YouTube, and welcome back to 28-year-old Backpan, where today, with me, Bruised, where I'm going to talk about this is a level 94 Holy Relic of Conviction Necromancer, and this is not a poison variant of this build either. This is a pure fizz crit variant. As a very quick TLDR at the start of this video here, if you want to just take a look at the POB, it will be down in the description below. I will probably make a couple of adjustments to that POB, just as far as like min-maxing the character a little bit more to like push it on further from where it's at right now. But for the most part, everything will be exactly as is. But like I said, there'll probably be like one or maybe two changes there. And the other thing is, if you are wondering if this is better than the poison version, I would probably say that towards the top end, towards the really top end, gearing really top end damage, the poison version is probably better. But from a just initial speed clear, from an initial just like damage standpoint and clear standpoint, as is in the game right now, this build is completely fine and it is really good, and I've been having a lot of fun playing it, and is very much a doable version of the build as well. So with that though, we'll just kind of roll into what the character is overall. So like I said, we're going pure fizz Holy Relic here. So these are the boys. We have four of them. We have four of them here, and the reason we have four of them is just because of the Dark Monarch hat here. This makes it so we can't have any other minions, but we can just have double the number of Holy Relics. So realistically, this is also something that's kind of up to you directly as well, even from the start. You can choose to either use a Joffrey's here, or you can use a Dark Monarch. That's completely up to you, whatever you want to do. You get one extra from Dark Monarch, so you get obviously 4 instead of 3, but you do get 3 with Joffrey still, and it is still a completely viable option and completely fine to do, and you can get some good corrupts on a Joffrey's. That would probably be cheaper than getting the version with Dark Monarch ready to go as well. But with that though, we'll kind of just roll into a map. I'm just going to do this is a tier 16.5 map with some modifiers on it. So we have an Originator Map here. We're just going to run this.
To be found here. Only the
and yeah, this is how you play the character though. But we're using Lancing Steel of Spraying, and I'll kind of go over why all that stuff is in a little bit here. But we're just using Lancing Steel of Spraying. We're letting just letting the Holy Relics take care of everything. Mercenaries might kill me, but I'll still give him the old college try. What's up, buddy?
Only get one shot at this.
Oh, Blade Fall Starfish. Really think he has anything I care about much otherwise, so I'll just go for it anyway.
No witnesses.
Now we're good.
It's yours.
Thanks, man. Got his stuff. Let's go. Yeah, like you see, we can get reasonably thick here very easily, just because these guys actually do a lot of damage. They have really good clear. They have really good clear with Lancing Steel, and just the fact that these will target enemies just wherever one of these Lancing Steels hits. So it's a very cruisy build. I actually made this character pretty much specifically to farm like Breach and stuff. So that's mostly what I've had this character doing, has been just farming Breach and then completing a couple random other objectives as well here and there. What do we even get? I didn't even look at these. Also, my face cam's covering nice. Oh, that's the turn things into gold, and this is the increased toughness for stuff. I will say, personally, I'm not a huge fan of the memory skills overall. That's just kind of a personal thing. I don't really care that much for them, but, you know, it's nice to still have new endgame stuff regardless. Yeah, it's that, oh, it's Soul Rest. The old Soul Rest. I mostly don't like the memory skills because I just don't like having to tap an extra button multiple times. Ow. I actually don't know which one hit me there. There was too much gold on the screen. I couldn't tell what hit me. One thing I will say about this character is it's a character where it's like, we're pretty thick until you aren't. It's like, you're totally fine, and then something hits you, and you just explode. And not like, oh, it just like anything hits you. It's just like there's some kind of like attack, or like some attacks that hit you that are just big time oofs when they do hit you. But overall, though, that is the character. So, you know, reasonably still very strong, very fun, and really easy to play. I mean, all you're doing is run around doing this. When you're about to get into a big engagement, you pop the Spirit Offering, just so that you have that, and then you get to work, and your boys deal even more damage. So we'll kind of roll into. We'll go back. I'm trying to think. Let's do it here. It's a little bit quieter in here just because I have, no. I want the music. Screw it. Screw it. We're getting the music in here. Anyway, so with that, we'll kind of roll into gear here. So I will quickly talk about everything that I am wearing right now. And also, I'll do a very quick history on the character, and because as you've noticed here, probably I'm wearing corpse walkers right now, which give you you leave a trail of corpses behind. This is useful for a couple of reasons, but I specifically, when I started this character, played it as a Cyclone character, which is still completely fine. You can play this as Cyclone, but it was because I did not read part of Holy Relic of Conviction, which is that you don't need to hit the enemy directly like you do with the normal variant. They cast the aura around an enemy whenever you hit them, hence being able to use Lancing Steel Spraying now instead of Cyclone. I did not read that at all when I first started playing this build, so I was using Cyclone, and because of that, I was doing cast while channeling Spirit Offering, and then was wearing Corpse Walkers because of that, because then you're hitting a lot, so these guys are proccing, and you're still triggering your Spirit Offering very often, which just meant that had permanent uptime and all jazz. But you don't really need to run Corpse Walkers. It's kind of up to you. That is just my own stupidity kind of led to that kind of thing. What you can do instead is I'm using just a jeweled foil here. I'm using a jeweled foil here just because of the attack speed. Having more attacks is just good for the sake of, just Lancing Stealing it out. But what you could do here is you could get one that has the triple. You'd want to do the 3 crafted. So you want to do can have 3 crafted modifiers. Hits can't be evaded, and the trigger a socketed spell crafts. That would be everything that you would want to do, and then you could just put Desecrate and Spirit Offering into the sword, and then you'll be casting that every time that you're, or at least fairly often as you're Lancing Stealing and all that good stuff. So we're just running a jeweled foil, like I was saying. We have Dark Monarch, like I said at the start of this video. It's a very good hat. It's a new hat too, so very cool that we get something new. That is also really cool. So +1 level of Alminian skills, and then you can have you can only have Holy Relics, but it's also doubled the amount of Holy Relics that you have, which is very nice. Oh, my best friend Scam Likely just called me. So we have this hat which we're running here. You could very reasonably try to get a good Corrupt on this. That's of course always a good benefit. Over here we're just running an Aegis. I got a shiny Aegis. Just gives us some really good thickness for the build. Just gives us some good tankiness. We're recovering energy shield. We're blocking, so very standard, just good shield. What I did run for a while, and which you could also conceivably run as well if you wanted to, was Dawnbreaker. I ran Dawnbreaker for a while, reduced extra damage from critical strikes. This is also really good. While I was leveling, I actually ran Lycoside, however you say that. I ran this while I was leveling, it just to make sure that I didn't have to think about stacking accuracy or anything along those lines while I was leveling. And then, like I said, Corpse Walkers here. This is up to you. Maybe you don't even care about casting Desecrate Spirit Offering every now and again. If that's the case, feel free to drop Corpse Walkers. I still just kind of like having Corpse Walkers around. They're just kind of cozy. So Corpse Walkers are on. A Darkness Enthroned, of course. This is a 96%. This might be at the point in the league where they're cheap enough where you can buy higher percentage ones than 96 even, but 96 is where I'm resting there. We're using a Diala's Malefaction as our primary chest piece here for the levels, for the quality, and all that kind of good stuff. Very useful chest piece for this build. This chest piece packs a ton of damage for us. We're using 2 Synthesis Bone Rings here. This one gives us curse enemies with vulnerability on hit, and this one gives us life per enemy hit with attacks. So every time we're doing that, every time we get 15 life per shard that an enemy hits. So as long as we don't explode in one hit, then we can be regaining a lot of life there. And then cursing enemies with vulnerability on hits. We don't have to think about other stuff or other setups to do, or manually self-casting vulnerability. Ashes of the Stars here for, again, more quality. The +1 level and the quality is very huge for Holy Relic of Conviction. That just means that its cooldown time is a lot faster. So that's kind of why we're stacking as much quality as we can. And then just some generic Leviathan gauntlets here, just more minion damage. You could craft minion damage as well on these. You can do the Essence of Fear. It gives minions, I think, 20-something more, or 20-something increased damage if you want to go that route. But as you can see, we have a lot of uniques in this build. So getting a lot of resistances is actually kind of the hard part. That's why I just opted to, as soon as I hit something that had enough resistances and was even remotely decent, I said, screw it, that's all that I want. So there we go there. And then we just have some Ghastly Eyes in here for more resistances, some life in there, attack cast speed, minions deal fizz damage. I believe this one has increased cooldown recovery rate, which is also great for our Holy Relic again. So those are kind of the things that you're looking for. You're looking for attack cast speed, physical damage, cooldown recovery rate, and then resistances and life. Those are kind of the big deals that we have there. Quickly go over gems here. So we have Frostblink, of course. We need the instant teleport mobility. Clarity and Arrogance. This is something that I have on. I don't really need it that often anymore, but every now and again, there comes a time where I do need Clarity, and it's just a little bit of extra comfort. Kind of just depends on the situation. So I have it linked up here that I use every now and again. So now I have some life reserved over here on Arrogance support. But for the most part, I really don't need Clarity at this point. It's just kind of there for necessary reasons every now and again. Up here we have an Enlighten with Zealotry, Flesh and Stone, and Determination. I would love to have Pride in here, but unfortunately Pride is just too expensive. I think if I got a Dark Monarch, maybe with the Reservation modifier, implicit corruption, and then also still have the Enlighten, I could maybe fit in Pride instead of Flesh and Stone. Or if you get a Mercenary that has Pride, you could just go that route as well. I don't think this guy has Pride. No, he has Determination. So it's up to you on how, if you want to fit that in. Otherwise, Flesh and Stone is still very good bonus damage that we deal. Problem is that you just have to be kind of close. We're already tending to be semi-close to the enemies, but you do want to actually kind of keep them in the aura so that your minions are dealing more damage to them if you're going that route too. In our shields here, we have Shield Charge with faster attacks and Convocation. Convocation is also completely unnecessary. I think it was literally while I was doing the Cyclone version, because again, I couldn't tell that the minions were... I couldn't tell that these guys were casting it on the enemy, and occasionally I would see them kind of float off to the side from me, and I was like, hey, get back over here, so I'd like use Convocation. But realistically, honestly, I'm just going to destroy this right now. You don't need Convocation at all. It is completely null and void here, so you can stick pretty much whatever you want there instead. And then in our gloves here, we have more duration with casting damage taken, life tap, and Immortal Call. Just damage support here. You could do automation support. You do automation if you want to. Go automation, Immortal Call, and do that route instead. That's kind of to each their own as far as that goes. I flip back and forth whether I want to do that or I want to do casting damage taken. Sorry, zoned out for a second. And then, like I said, Lancing Steel is spraying. We have more duration, which doesn't do anything. This is for that's for Spirit Offering. So more duration on Spirit Offering, And then Lancing Steel with returning projectiles. You can also get, if you wanted to, you could remove the more duration. Like I said, you move some things around in here. And you could do, instead of more duration here, you could do life gain on hit. You could do that support, which is, let's see, it's, which one is it? This one, life gain on hit support. So you could reasonably put that into your setup here instead. But I think since we have the ring here, I didn't really feel like it was necessary. And then in the chest piece here, so we have Holy Relic of Convection in a green, so that it gets 30 quality from the green socket. Then we have a Awakened minion damage support at level 3 here, so it's pushed over into the into a red slot so that it gets +2 levels, which then activates the +1 level of supported minion skills that it gets from being level 5, which is great. That's a ton of damage right there. We have an Empower level 4 here, which is then in a red, so then it's giving +5 levels to supported skill gem. We have increased critical strike support, Awakened Brutality. This pretty soon here will then also allow enemies to be crushed. It's a decent damage increase. It's not an insane one, but it's a decent damage increase, so that'll be a damage increase coming in the near future for this. And then we have increased critical damage over here. This is just in a green because I was not going to try to roll over 4 red to green. That was totally fine. So this works, but also into a red would also be fine. And that is our whole gem setup there. Stat-wise, I will say on all the gear, just look for, minion damage. Like I said, most of this is very much so uniques, so it's not like a ton to look for. Try to look to fill your resistances. Try to look to buff your minion damage. Like this ring here, I actually kind of need to reroll this ring to be minions deal more damage at the very least in the implicit, and then still have resistances on the outside of that. I just, at the time when I rolled this ring, it hit resistances like it needed to, and I was like, good enough, man. I need the resistances so bad, so I just did that. On the foil here, you can absolutely just craft using some Essences of Fear until it hits attack speed and global crit multi. Or you can do what I said earlier too. You can just try to... I would still recommend doing the minions deal increased damage, and then you would just annul it until you have enough slots open to do the 3 craft with hits can't be evaded and trigger a socketed spell, and you just go that route. And then gloves, just again, resistances or whatever else you need. And yeah, that's all the gear and the gem setup. Like I said though, tons of uniques, so keep that in mind. So here we are. Now the big bread and butter with this build comes largely actually from Supreme Ostentation here, where we ignore attribute requirements, but we gain no inherent bonuses from attribute, which is completely fine. And we can actually do some really comfy stuff with that and do a lot of good setup stuff with that. But before I kind of dive into that, I'll talk about the Ascendancy itself. So, Commander of Darkness, Mindless Aggression, both very kind of obvious things. Just more damage, attack cast speed, elemental resistances, very obvious stuff. But then, since I was doing Corpse Walkers at the time, and actually even since then, I've still kind of just decided to stick with the Plaguebringer Corpse Pact stuff. When I'm near enemies, that means that they are being chilled and shocked. Whenever I'm actually casting Spirit Offering, then we are getting more attack speed at the very least. We're not stacking it up to a ton like you can do with Corpse Pact, but they are at least getting chilled and shocked. And then we are whenever we're eating a corpse as well, we gain increased area of effect and nearby allies. So everybody else, our guys are dealing more damage, enemies are dealing less damage. So it's overall just a very nice buff. If you wanted to, though, you could absolutely just remove Corpse Pact here, and you could take just like Bone Barrier, or I'd probably just take Bone Barrier. Bone Barrier would be another really comfy node, or you could take Essence Glutton, I suppose, if you want to go that route too. Also would be very viable. But that is what we were doing as far as Ascendancy goes. I believe I went Mindless Aggression, Plaguebringer, Corpse Pact, Commander of Darkness. But since I learned about the whole Lancing Steel of Spring thing, probably would go Mindless Aggression, Plaguebringer, Commander of Darkness into Corpse Pact after that. And then yeah, we just we go up here. We're going off down into the strength area just for some tankiness here. We get some armor and some endurance charges on hit. We get some block here. We get some more life there. We get to take a lot of tattoos. We get to take a lot of good stuff along here. Some percent life. We get our 2 all max res. Corrupted blood can't be inflicted on us. And then, yeah, so like I said, the other deal with Supreme Ostentation is you really want to look for Slumlord. So we have 2 Slumlords on this one. There are in this position, there are, I believe, 2 or maybe 3 different Elegant Hubris's that can actually hit 3 Slumlords within this wheel, specifically that are also point advantageous for us. You can hit a Slumlord either here or here, I believe. It's one of these 2, and then I think the Slumlord from here transfers up to this one. So there is one that you can do that gives you 3 Slumlords, which is very nice because I would say be willing to give up the 3 points to take Slumlord again. It's a huge damage increase, but don't go super far out of it. I think honestly the 3-pointers are the best ones. After that, like, it's too many. Like going up here for 5s, no, that's too much. Going over here for 4s, that's too much. Like, it's too much to give up sometimes. So if you can manage to get your hands on one of those, absolutely go ahead and do that for the 3-pointer, and then I would say just give up some points on like a large cluster jewel and just give up some points there so that you could take a 3rd Slumlord, and it would be another really big damage increase for you. The version that I'll have on PUB will be one of the correct versions that does have 3 Slumlords on it. I unfortunately kept an eye on it for multiple days and tried to purchase one off of multiple people, and nobody responded. It really reminded me why I sometimes absolutely hate trading in this game, because people will just put stuff up and then not actually sell it to you. So anyway, that's my own annoyance when it comes to trading. So there is a better one that you can get here. Do keep in mind that you cannot tattoo over the Price of Glories. That does not work. Price of Glory is the override no matter what. We will not be able to get rid of this. But the rest of it, though, we don't care about attributes anymore, so tattoo it up, buddy. Tattoo it up. So we have chance to avoid bleeding, and we have 10 of these chance to avoid bleedings, so bleed can't be inflicted on us. So that is great for us. We are using the Rune Graft here for 10% reduced attributes for 40% increased global defenses. Again, we don't care about attributes in the slightest. They don't do anything. So we just want the increased global defenses from that. So that is what we're getting there, which is awesome. And then also the Mercenary that I'm running is using Grace. So actually we're getting Determination and Grace and then boosting it by 40%. So that is overall awesome. But yeah, I have some avoid bleeding tattoos. I have some chance to block tattoos, just so that I can get some further chance to block spell damage and chance to block attack damage, of course. Some of these guys, yeah, I have some chaos resistance tattoos, I think, just to try to push me into... I might be at 0. I'm at 3. So yeah, I tried to push myself. I would probably try to put some more tattoos on like the intelligence for just some more chaos resistance ones, most likely. And that would kind of be the plan there. But yeah, overall, otherwise, we're just coming up here. We're coming down. We're taking this Slumlord here. So that's why we're taking... I think that's Sanctity is that actual node. And then we're cutting through Spiritual Command. We want the minion defense for increased area of effect and minions leech. So they're already really tanky, but this is just to confirm that they basically never die. You do get into sketch situations in like tier 17 maps where it gets close sometimes. We're taking block here on Safeguard because we like block. Purity of Flesh, Sovereignty. We're going to come up here. We're going to take in 50% chance to ignore enemy phys damage reduction, along with every part of the crit wheel here. And then we are taking the minion cluster jewel up here with Vicious Bite. This is kind of the big deal on our large clusters, is Vicious Bite. And then whatever else you can get that is good. Obviously, you can get the Giga ones where it's like minion attack, cast speed, increased effect, and like life, and then Vicious Bite, and you'd be really set. This one just has Rotten Claws, which does literally nothing. This one does too. That's just what it happened to hit. But otherwise, yeah, just Vicious Bite, and then stack whatever else you need or whatever else you can get that's good. Just put in some more Ghastly Eye Jewels here for some more Fizz and Crit. Get some increased cooldown recovery rate on your jewels where you can. Increased effective offerings over here on Redemption, all that good stuff. Oh, right. I have an Immutable Force here. It is pretty cozy still, despite not being Cyclone. But I would say just put in another Ghastly Eye Jewel here. I'm probably just going to leave it in on this character for the hell of it. But just get another Ghastly Eye Jewel here, and I'll probably replace that on the POB as well. I was using that just for Cyclone, just so that you don't get stunned, really, or at the very least, the stun is so fast that it literally doesn't even happen, essentially. I think it's with the way that server ticks work, it basically means that you are stun immune, essentially, by that point. But I couldn't tell you for sure. That's too much nerd talk. So yeah, we have Immutable Force here, but this will just be a Ghastly Eye Jewel for the sake of Lancing Steel. It's still nice, but it's not a necessity. And then, like I was saying, come down here for life, block, all that kind of stuff. And that is essentially the character. Like I said, I'll have the POB in the description if you want to take a look. This character has been a lot of fun. Was really easy to level, and was really strong. Like, just absolutely crushed the entire game, pretty much. Probably one of the fastest levelers I had this league. Really just pushed along. Like I said, is very reasonably thick. Every now and again, you just run into something where you just explode. But for the most part, it's completely fine. You just kind of recognize, oh, I'm exploding, and you play a little bit safer. You just kind of throw your Lancing Steels off and move. You just kind of keep yourself mobile wherever you can, whenever you're doing that. But the build overall is a lot of fun. And yeah, I just felt like sharing this out, and hopefully you enjoy. Hopefully you've been having a good time with Mercenaries if you've been playing this league as well. Let me know if you have any questions about the build, the character, whatever else. Like I said at the beginning as well, do I think that this is the best, the absolute top tier version of this build? Probably not. I do think the poison variant probably does outscale this in the end, but you don't have to ramp the damage with this. It is just instant. You have all of your damage, which is a very nice thing to have. And I just personally wanted to do it in a different way. So here we are with this variant instead. Let me know if you have any questions. So like I said, hope you've been enjoying this league, and I will see you next time. Stay sane out there, Exiles.